And we are live. Toronto, Stevie live. Good evening. It's a Tuesday night. So, for those of you tuning in, uh, Nasty Neil said that this week's In Your Head Wrestling Radio would be on Wednesday after Dynamite. With IYH usually on right now, I thought I'd get the Raw report in because I don't know if I'll be able to get on tomorrow night, and even then, what time he's going to get on and how long. So here's the Raw report. Quick thing. This week, Monday Night Raw came to you from, I believe, it was from Omaha, Nebraska. And we started off with all the pre-show arrivals. WWE seems to really like filling their airwaves with people just walking up and showing up. Obafemi, the original Grande Americano, and he's got, Brutus and Julius Creed are now dressing up in El Grande Americano outfits. So Ruka showed up, Javon Evans, Penta. Um, so Raw actually begins in the parking garage. Roman Reigns comes out of the vehicle. He meets Adam Pearce, um, but Roman Reigns he walks away from Pearce, but and I think there's a quick interaction with Seth Rollins. I think it's just Reigns just said something to him, but it was actually Seth Rollins who kicked off Monday Night Raw. He comes out, his music starts, he comes out, but he only gets a few feet down the entranceway before Braun Breaker attacked him and just beat him up. And he actually military pressed him and dropped him on the barricade. So Rollins just got beaten up. Didn't even get a chance to cut a promo. The security guards come down. Braun Breaker starts fighting with the security guards. And Adam Pearce comes up and tries to break this all up and get Seth Rollins. But I think before Breaker broke away from the security guards and speared Seth Rollins and laid him out. And when he did that, the crowd in the arena were yelling one more time at Braun Breaker as Pierce and the security guard stepped in. So the fans really like Braun Breaker. He's quickly getting over as almost like a Steve Austin type babyface, even though he's supposed to be a heel. The fans are really taken to him. There's a last week on Raw segment with Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez. And then we go to the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Liv Morgan is there, Dirty Dom is there, JD McDonough, Raquel Rodriguez. And they're basically, I think it was Liv Morgan. She's happy that they took out Stephanie Vaquer, but she wants to know from Roxanne Perez what was going on last week with her and Finn Balor. And she wants to know, is she loyal to the Judgment Day? So coming back from the commercial break was the opening match of the night. And this certainly happened a lot faster than last week. Last week it was like 25, 26 minutes. But this one happened a lot sooner. It was Finn Balor versus JD McDonough. And JD McDonough has Dirty Dom in his corner. So Finn Balor, it's again the student versus the teacher match. They did talk about how McDonough was mentored by Finn Balor, and Finn had to put up with. Actually, eventually he had to put up with all the Judgment Day. First, Roxanne Perez came down to the ring, and she stood at ringside. And then after the commercial break, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez came down to the ring. So you had the entire Judgment Day surrounding the ring. Finn Balor tried to fight off JD McDonough, but JD did manage to get the. So I think it was Roxanne Perez was able to slip the ringside hammer from the timekeeper's table, and she slipped it to McDonough behind the referee's back. He hits Finn Balor, gives him a headbutt, drops him and pins him 1, 2, 3. So surprise, surprise, JD McDonough actually beats Finn Balor. Then we go. There's I get that generic preview of Hulk Hogan's Real American Netflix documentary. And then we go backstage. A woman named Jackie is with Seth Rollins. And she basically wants to know, after the attack by Braun Breaker, she asks Seth Rollins, will you be okay for Backlash? Rollins says, well, that's in 5 days. He'll be fine. He basically mentions, I ain't dead yet. And but that's not the last we'll see of Seth Rollins. Coming back from the commercial break, there's a last week on Raw review of Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. And they basically announced that there's going to be a contract signing tonight with the two in the ring. So, but who knew that contract signings would be so monumental? We do have a comment here. Who's here? Anthony Chobo. Good evening, Anthony. How's it going? Let's see. What did you write here? How are you doing? It says, I'm watching Stan Helsing. Isn't that isn't that a Leslie Nielsen parody movie that you're watching, Anthony? I think that was starring Leslie Nielsen. Getting back to the Raw report. So the commentators basically say that there's going to be the contract signing and later on tonight. They do a highlight of the night segment with Joe Hendry and Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And then we go to the Vision with Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Braun Breaker. And Paul Heyman walks in and he asks about Seth Rollins. And I guess this isn't the last we'll see of all of these guys, because they're planning something else. Coming back from the commercial break, they actually do. So they do a last week on Raw with a video on Ethan Page, and then it breaks to the next match of the night. Is a tag team match. Intercontinental Champion Penta teaming up with Javon Evans to take on Rusev and All Eagle Ethan Page. Ethan Page, the second greatest export from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, behind Iron Mike Sharp. So this tag team match was pretty good. Ethan Page did get some shine, but not only that, Rusev certainly did. And I believe it was Ethan Page trying to hit his finishing move, the Twisted Grin. But I don't think Rusev didn't get his accolade move in. It was actually Ethan Page. I think he hit a Fisherman's Buster on Penta, and he actually pinned the Intercontinental Champion. So even though Rusev Afterwards, I was kind of waiting for Rusev to attack Ethan Page, but that didn't happen. They celebrated in the ring, but it was actually Ethan Page who got the pinfall. So I have a feeling that the next challenger for the Intercontinental Championship for Penta will probably be Ethan Page, but they're taking their time with this match, so we're going to have to wait for it. Backstage, you have Sol Ruka, and now she's here to sign her contract. So about 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Sol Ruka had this match on NXT in which she got thrown off of a ledge and she fell backwards through an announce table, through a table to the floor. It looked pretty dangerous. They gave her a week off and she looks like she's back to normal. Hopefully, she didn't suffer any long-term injuries. But she comes out. Adam Pearce is in the ring, and he's basically excited that Sol Ruka is there to sign her contract. She comes out. Now she's new to you may know her on NXT, but she's new to Monday Night Raw, so the crowd is gonna have to get used to her. She comes out and she cuts a promo, but her promo is immediately cut off by the arriving Becky Lynch, the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Becky comes down and she does her usual promo. It's getting kind of old, but I think she's referring to Sol Ruka. She calls Sol Ruka Io Janetti, or is that Io Sky? I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe she was talking about Io Sky. Anyway, Sol Ruka cuts a promo on Becky Lynch, and I think she called Becky Lynch, she's a rude, big-headed bitch. And says, it's not just me saying it, it's New York Times saying it. She basically turns Becky Lynch's promo on her, and she signs her Raw contract, and Becky Lynch basically looks at her and says, who are you? And Sol Ruka comes back and says, I'm Sol Ruka, and if you ever interrupt me again, I'll not only kick your ass, I'll snatch your soul. And this immediately breaks down into a fight, and this ends with Sol Ruka actually botching her soul snatcher move. She did recover long enough, quick enough to hit the soul snatcher on Becky Lynch and leave her laying. But yeah, she probably should practice this move because sometimes it's just a mistake, and she kind of lost her footing briefly, but she was able to recover very quickly and hit a soul snatcher on Becky Lynch and leave her laying. So that certainly looks like, again, the next challenger for Becky Lynch and the Women's Intercontinental Championship is going to be Sol Ruka. It would certainly be interesting if they were to quickly put the belt on Sol Ruka, but I have a feeling that it might take some time. So if they do have a match, I wouldn't be surprised if Becky Lynch takes the first one. What does Anthony see? Hey, don't know what you're saying there in your second comment there, Anthony. There's a last week on Raw video with Jacob Fatu. Oh, it was a SmackDown video where Jacob Fatu beat up the MFTs, And it sort of reminds me, since the last round of cuts, there were more cuts. I think it was JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb has been released, and one of the Tongas got released. Was it Tonga Loa? I think one of those Tonga, one of Haku's kids got released as well. There's a woman named Jackie is interviewing Jimmy and Jay Uso, and they're there to support Roman Reigns for the contract signing. And so there they go into Roman Reigns' locker room, and coming back from the commercial break, Joe Hendry comes out. He's in the ring, and out comes Logan Paul and Austin Theory, and we have a very quick match. It was Joe Hendry versus Austin Theory with Logan Paul at ringside, and once again, this followed a pattern of other Austin Theory singles matches, where Austin Theory basically has a match for a few minutes, and then someone from the Vision comes out and attacks Austin Theory's opponent. This time it was Logan Paul. He immediately gets in the ring and starts beating up Joe Hendry, causing the disqualification. So Austin Theory loses yet another singles match by disqualification. This is about the third or fourth time, kind of losing count. But they start beating up on Joe Hendry, which brings out the Street Profits. The Street Profits come out, much like last week, they get into a brawl with Logan Paul and Austin Theory. But this time around, Braun Breaker comes out, and he starts beating up the Street Profits. I think he threw Montez Ford out of the ring, and then gave a German suplex to Angelo Dawkins. But as Breaker was setting up for a spear, Seth Rollins comes out of he came out of the crowd, and he grabs Braun Breaker, and they start brawling around the ring. So Rollins, it certainly looks like he was gonna hit a stomp on somebody, but Braun Breaker was able to hit another spear on Seth Rollins and leave him laying. So we go for a backstage interview. Jackie Redmond is backstage with the Judgment Day, and they're confronted by Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. So it certainly looks like the Judgment Day girls and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria will determine who is going to be the next challengers to the women's tag team champions, Brie Bella and Paige. And then I think after the commercial break is the Obafemi Open Challenge. And who answers the challenge? None other than the Alpha Academy. It certainly looked like that Akira Tozawa would answer the challenge. He actually stands face to chest with Obafemi, and then thinks better of it. And this basically allows Otis to step in. And so Otis actually answers the open challenge. And this match actually started with the two guys just running into each other. And Otis, that's about the only offense that Otis got in this match, because then Obafemi just started pounding on him. And he actually picked up Otis and tossed him around the ring, dropped him on the floor, dropped him on the mat, then picked him up, put him on the second turnbuckle, went underneath, and was able to pick him up off the ground and hit the fall from grace and pin Otis 1, 2, 3 and win the match. Um, pretty, the crowd really got into this. This is probably a good way to get Obafemi over before he has to step up his game to some tougher challenges. Backstage segment, Seth Rollins. He meets up with the Street Profits and Joe Hendry. Um, Montez Ford, he says, he tells Seth Rollins, nobody trusts you. Rollins responds, well, it doesn't matter. Um, backstage, Roman Reigns, he's talking to General Manager Adam Pearce, and that's when Jacob Fatu finally arrives at the building. Um, so coming back from the commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break is another pre-tape segment. Adam Pearce is with Asuka and Io Sky, and they talk to each other in English and Japanese. I did post a video a long time ago, basically saying that both of these girls know how to speak English. Asuka is fluent in English, but they continuously want her to speak Japanese. But this is basically setting up yet another match. And the segment actually ends with Asuka spitting mist into Io Sky's face, and Io Sky selling it, and Adam Pearce going nuts. But they announced that Asuka and Io Sky will have a match this Saturday at Backlash. And then Jackie Redmond is in the gorilla position with the original El Grande Americano. They did have a segment showing the Creed brothers attacking the second El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser. And so then Jackie Redmond interviews Chad Gable and the Creed brothers in their El Grande Americano get-ups. And then after the commercial break, we have a 6-man tag team match. All these El Grande Americanos fighting each other. And I think it was actually the babyface El Grande Americanos. The original, yes, I think they actually won this match. But they're still promoting this mask versus mask match. Chad Gable versus Ludwig Kaiser. So don't really know who's going to win this match. It's just a good mid-card feud. So finally, the main event segment is the WWE Backlash contract signing. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. Reigns comes out first. He signs the contract. Jacob Fatu comes out, and but before he signs the contract, there's once again there are promos cut between these two. The crowd's yelling OTC, and then they start yelling for Jacob Fatu. And Reigns once again, he cuts this promo, and it basically drives Jacob Fatu crazy. He keeps trying to hit the Tonkin death grip on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns actually got out of it a couple of times. But I think the segment ended once again with Roman Reigns getting laid out with the Tongan death grip. And Jacob Fatu, he had to rustle among the debris to find the contract and sign his name on the contract. So Raw goes off the air with Roman Reigns getting laid out. And the crowd actually turned. And once again, Jacob Fatu was kind of set up to be the heel in this, but the crowd was actually yelling his name at the end as he was signing the contract. So it certainly looks like Well, I mean, I completely expect Jacob Fatu, Roman Reigns, to retain his title. I certainly don't think that WWE would have him beat Roman Reigns. It would just totally surprise me if they did. So I totally expect this Saturday Roman Reigns will retain the World Heavyweight title against Jacob Fatu. I don't think I'm wrong about that. Um, you should let me know in the comments what you think. Um, so, um, yes, there were more. So there were more cuts. The big news this week in WWE was that apparently TKO, which now owns WWE, they asked the New Day, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston to restructure their contracts. The New Day said no, and they walked. So so now they're gone from WWE, and we don't know where they're going to end up. Whether they're going to end up in AEW. As soon as I heard this, I thought, well, what if the New Day showed up in TNA? Maybe it's the return of Consequences Creed. Maybe not. I don't think so. That was just wishful thinking. But that's a quick Raw report. Tomorrow night, Nasty Neil is going to be on with In Your Head After Dynamite. I may or may not get on. We'll see if that comes to pass. But thank you very much for watching, and I am out of here. Goodbye, everybody.